Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission is to unpack the original blueprint for the American dream.
Yeah, we are pulling from a really great stack of materials for this one.
Right, we've got PBS documentaries, historical analyses, and primary sources like Poor Richard's Almanac and his own autobiography.
And we're talking about Benjamin Franklin, of course.
Exactly. I mean, you probably know him as the founding father with the kite. But today we're looking at how his intense focus on industry and frugality made him a self-made millionaire.
A millionaire who actually managed to retire at age 42, which is just wild.
It really is. But to understand that massive success, we have to look at his incredibly humble starting point. He basically manufactured his own reputation from scratch.
Oh, absolutely. He arrived in Philadelphia at age 17 with just like a few coins in his pocket. He was literally sleeping in a boat and eating a plain roll.
Wow, that is starting from the absolute bottom.
Yeah. So when he eventually opened his print shop, he knew he had to prove himself. He would purposefully haul his own paper supplies through the streets in a wheelbarrow.
See, I love that detail. It's so much like a modern tech CEO, sleeping under their desk or posting their 4 a.m. workout.
Yes. It's performing the look of hustle to build investor confidence.
Exactly. Just manufacturing the optics of grinding.
And he actually wrote about this explicitly in his 1748 essay, Rules for a Tradesman's Success.
Oh, really? What did he say?
Well, he wrote that if a creditor hears your hammer at 5 in the morning, they give you grace. They essentially extend your credit because they trust your work ethic.
Right, they know you're good for it.
But he said if they hear your voice at a tavern, they demand their money the very next day.
Wow. So it wasn't just working hard, it was making sure the people holding the purse strings actually saw you working hard.
Precisely. He understood that public perception directly dictated his financial reality.
And that obsession with control didn't just stop at his storefront, right? I mean, he applied that same rigorous tracking to his private life.
He did. He basically gamified his own behavior to build wealth. If you look at another primary source, the way to wealth, this is where he coined the famous phrase, time is money.
Such a classic quote. But he wasn't just being philosophical about it.
Not at all. He calculated the exact mathematical causality of idleness. He reasoned that sitting idle for half a day literally throws away 5 shillings of potential earnings.
Literally doing the math on laziness.
Exactly. And to prevent that, he carried around this little book with a chart of 13 virtues. He used red ink to track his daily faults in categories like frugality and industry.
Wait, carrying around a ledger of your own character flaws? That sounds miserable.
It does sound pretty intense.
Does this make him like the 18th century godfather of toxic hustle culture? Because striving for absolute relentless perfection seems like a fast track to burnout.
Well, Franklin actually recognized the danger of that exact trap.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, in his autobiography, he counters that idea of toxic perfectionism with this great little story called the speckled axe anecdote.
A speckled axe.
Yeah. He admitted he completely failed at the virtue of order. To explain why he eventually accepted this flaw, he tells the story of a man buying an axe from a blacksmith.
Okay, I'm tracking.
The man wants the whole surface of the axe to be as bright and shiny as the sharp edge. The blacksmith says, sure, I'll grind it bright, but only if you turn the heavy grindstone yourself.
Let me guess. Turning that massive stone was so exhausting that the guy eventually gives up.
You got it. The guy just decides a dull, speckled axe is perfectly fine.
That's hilarious and honestly very relatable.
Right. Franklin realized that the pursuit of self-improvement made him highly successful, but demanding absolute perfection was counterproductive.
So the virtues chart wasn't to punish himself, it was just to ensure directional progress while, keeping his sanity.
Exactly. And for anyone listening today who's trying to build a business or master a new skill, Franklin's core lesson is still so practical.
Yeah, that time and credit are your two most easily squandered currencies.
Absolutely. Protecting your reputation and putting a hard value on your hours are the foundational steps to gaining real leverage.
And that leverage is what allowed him to retire an incredibly wealthy man at just 42.
Which brings up an entirely different facet of his legacy. After he secured his fortune, he invented things like the lightning rod and the Franklin stove.
Right. Hugely important invention.
But he completely refused to patent any of them.
Wait, really? He intentionally gave away the rights to things that could have made him vastly wealthier.
Yeah, he wanted them to be freely available to serve the public.
Wow. That really leaves you with a thought to mull over. Does the true American dream mean endlessly grinding to hoard wealth?
Or is personal wealth merely a prerequisite for financial independence?
Exactly. Just gaining that independence early so you can spend the rest of your life pursuing your passions and serving the public.